History remembers kings for their victories, their reforms, or their tyrannies. But Ferdinand VII of Spain is remembered for something far stranger: his obsessive lust, his twisted personal life, and the bizarre court rituals that made him one of the most scandalous monarchs Europe has ever seen. Today, we peel back the veil of secrecy to uncover the shocking mysteries surrounding the man often called the most perverted king in history, a king like no other. Spain in the early 19th century was a kingdom torn apart by Napoleonic invasion, civil strife, and fading imperial power. Yet, amidst this turmoil, King Ferdinand VII reigned not with wisdom or vision, but with paranoia, cruelty, and obsession. He is remembered as El Rey Felon, the treacherous king, for betraying his allies and plunging Spain into misery. But beyond politics, Ferdinand VII's private life shocked even his contemporaries. While other monarchs hid their scandals, Ferdinand flaunted his desires, surrounding himself with women, physicians, and bizarre rituals, all designed to satisfy his one obsession: producing a male heir. A childhood of weakness and suspicion. Born in 1784, Ferdinand was sickly from birth. Doctors feared he would not survive into adulthood, and his fragile health would haunt him throughout life. From an early age, he developed feelings of insecurity, jealousy, and resentment, traits that later shaped both his politics and his personal perversions. Ferdinand grew up in the shadow of his powerful parents, King Charles IV and Queen Maria Louisa, whose court was infamous for corruption and scandal. Whispers of illegitimacy and the dominance of the Queen's favorite, Manuel Godoy, fueled Ferdinand's paranoia. He learned early on that power came not through merit, but through manipulation, betrayal, and the throne. When Napoleon invaded Spain in 1808, Ferdinand initially positioned himself as the savior of the nation. Yet, his betrayal of both allies and his own people soon earned him the nickname the Treacherous King. After years of exile in France, he returned to Spain in 1814, restored to power by popular demand. The people hoped Ferdinand would bring reform. Instead, he abolished the liberal constitution, reinstated absolute monarchy, and unleashed brutal repression on his subjects. But while Spain bled, Ferdinand's attention increasingly turned to one obsession: his bedchamber, the obsession with producing an heir. Ferdinand married 4 times. His first 3 marriages ended in tragedy. None of his wives bore him a surviving child. This failure fueled gossip across Europe. Was the king impotent, sterile, or cursed? His fragile health, combined with rumors of strange bedroom practices, only deepened the mystery. By his 4th marriage to Maria Cristina of the 2 Sicilies, Ferdinand was desperate. Doctors, priests, and midwives were summoned not just to treat his ailments, but to monitor his attempts at conception. The Spanish court became a stage for bizarre rituals. Ferdinand would be examined after intercourse, his wife monitored during ovulation, and even his sheets inspected for proof of performance. These humiliating practices earned him ridicule across Europe, and many foreign ambassadors described the Spanish king as a slave to his lusts, yet a failure as a man. The infamous Pervert King stories. Ferdinand's reputation as the most perverted king did not come from simple lust. Accounts from courtiers and foreign envoys reveal bizarre behaviors, public displays of intimacy. Unlike most monarchs, Ferdinand often spoke openly about his sexual life in front of courtiers. Obsessive medical rituals. He demanded constant medical examinations to confirm his virility. Physicians were ordered to observe his private acts. An extraordinary humiliation for both king and court. Strange fetishes. Though hard to separate truth from gossip, rumors claimed Ferdinand enjoyed voyeuristic practices and unusual bedroom experiments designed to overcome his infertility. Whether all these tales were true or exaggerated by his enemies, one fact remains. Ferdinand's private life was the subject of endless mockery, even in an era when most monarchs hid their scandals behind closed doors. A kingdom in decline. While Ferdinand obsessed over his bedroom, Spain fell deeper into crisis. The loss of the Spanish colonies in the Americas deprived the crown of its wealth. At home, political repression silenced liberals, while royalist supporters grew disillusioned with a king more interested in heirs than governance. His desperation finally bore fruit in 1830, when Maria Cristina gave birth to a daughter, Isabella. Though not the longed-for male heir, Isabella would become Queen Isabella II. Yet even this sparked more turmoil, as Ferdinand's brother Don Carlos challenged her right to the throne, igniting the bloody Carlist Wars. Death of a scandalous king. Ferdinand VII died in 1833 at the age of 49 after years of illness, paranoia, and scandal. His death left Spain divided and weak, but his legacy in the private sphere was just as enduring. To this day, historians debate whether his bizarre sexual obsessions were the result of medical conditions, psychological trauma, or simply the corruption of absolute power. The mystery of Ferdinand VII. Why was Ferdinand so consumed by lust and insecurity? Some historians suggest he suffered from congenital illnesses that affected both his body and mind. Others argue that the toxic environment of the Spanish court, filled with betrayal and humiliation, twisted his character. Perhaps the greatest irony is this. While Ferdinand is remembered as a cruel, treacherous king politically, his private life has overshadowed even his tyranny. The stories of his humiliating rituals, his desperate search for an heir, and his perversions transformed him into a legend of royal scandal. Conclusion. Lessons from a scandalous reign. The tale of Ferdinand VII reminds us that kings are not gods. They are humans, with weaknesses, obsessions, and vices. In Ferdinand's case, his inability to control his desires not only damaged his personal reputation, but also distracted him from the responsibilities of leadership. Spain suffered because its king was more concerned with his bed than his kingdom. History often glorifies rulers for their achievements. But sometimes, as with Ferdinand VII, it is their failures, scandals, and perversions that are remembered. He remains one of history's strangest monarchs, a man who ruled with treachery in politics and obsession in his private life. If you're interested in such fascinating historical stories and unique perspectives, don't forget to follow our channel. We will continue to bring you exciting discoveries about the figures and events that have shaped world history. Let's expand our knowledge together and look at the past through a fresh and inspiring lens.